games behind them, and they will go for a sweep with Alek Manoah on the mound tomorrow afternoon.
A terrific team effort. George Springer had a big game, couple of hits early in the game, a 2-run double in the second inning. Raimel Tapia, a 3-run double in the fifth inning. The defense was outstanding. 5 red stars in the book today, and the bullpen continues to be top-rated bullpen as Romano comes on, picks up the save, and the Blue Jays are in good spots right now. Chapman had another big hit today, had a sac fly in the first, got everything going, but the Blue Jays have taken the first 2 of this 3-game set.
Lots of action from some of the other teams. Yankees, Mariners, Rays coming up tonight, but the Blue Jays have taken care of their business today. Let's send it to Jamie and Joe.
So much. I know they haven't cemented a spot in the postseason, but that victory in particular feels like, now that it's a 7-game gap between them and the Orioles, that's insurmountable. It would take a bit of a miracle, one would think, for the Orioles to overcome that. So glad you've joined us. We are going to take you to the game in Tampa Bay upcoming in just a minute. We'll get to the field as well, but a victory for the Blue Jays. For those who tuned in a little late, let's take a look at some of the things that went down today in front of a huge crowd here at the Rogers Center as the Blue Jays score first, Joe.
That's a good thing, Matt Chapman. This is situational hitting. You're looking for a pitch up in the zone that you can get in the air to the outfield.
Now, this was an interesting inning, the second, as Barrios hits Mountcastle. I don't know why he's not wearing a protective cover on that elbow, but he had to exit the game. And it created some issues for Barrios because ultimately the bases are loaded. So what does he do to Stowers? 3 straight fastballs.
Heat him up. Good elevated heat right there to Stowers.
The Blue Jays could use a little padding, and George Springer provides it right here. A laser to the corner in left center, cashes 2, make it a 3-0 lead for the Blue Jays. But the Orioles come back, top of the third. Gunnar Henderson, quite a ball player, and he smacks this one to the right side. 2 come in to score, and suddenly the gap for the Blue Jays is only 1. They needed a big hit, and guess who they get it from? You got it. The baby giraffe wallops this thing to center field. Bases loaded. It does not hop over the wall. So all 3 score, and the Blue Jays increase their lead. Somebody from Timmins walked by and mentioned that he hit one to Timmins, but they didn't hit a home run in this game. They didn't need to, especially when you got guys like Jordan Romano, who picks up save number 34, and the Blue Jays win another series. They haven't lost a series in 3 weeks. Remember when they got swept by the Angels? Let's take you to the field. The Rashes with Raimel Tapia.
Raimel, with the bases loaded, in a 1-run game, you cleared him with that RBI double. To continue to get the opportunity to play and contribute means what to you?
Con la base llena, me diste un doble hoy, para irnos adelante, jugando todos los días y contribuyendo.
¿Cómo tú haces?
¿Qué significa contribuir como lo hiciste hoy para el equipo?
No, enfocándome siempre y ayudando al equipo, aportando al equipo para ganar y dándole buenas emociones a los fanáticos.
Just stay focused and trying to do the best I can to help my team win and trying to give a lot of emotions to our fans.
These fans are pumped, Raimel. 13-4 in the month of September. What is this team learning in the push to October of what it takes to win in a run to a postseason?
3-4 en el mes de septiembre el equipo. ¿Qué tú crees que es lo que estamos haciendo, que hemos aprendido a tener un mes como lo que estamos teniendo ahora mismo?
La confianza que tenemos cada uno de nosotros y la confianza que nos da All-Star y los fanáticos siempre están arriba de nosotros apoyándonos y eso es algo muy importante.
Confidence that we have each other, our coaching staff, and of course all the support from the fans.
Chapman was saying yesterday, pitching and defense means so much in September and October. Again, it was the pitching that got it done today. How critical have these arms been?
Chapman dijo ayer que picheo y defensa ganan juego. Hoy el picheo otra vez resaltó. ¿Qué tan importante eso para nosotros?
Oh, bueno, eso es muy bueno porque cuando a veces no bateamos muy bien y el picheo está ahí, estamos cerca del juego, ¿entiendes? Y como te digo, cuando los dos estamos en conjunto, creo que es difícil que nos ganen.
I mean, that's very important, of course. I mean, when we're not hitting too well and the pitching's there, it's good. But when the pitching and hitting are together, it's going to be hard to beat us.
Another series win for the Blue Jays. Guys, thanks.
So Tapia's popularity is evident, and boy, that double that he hit to clear the bases was such an important run for the Blue Jays. We've seen it from time to time where they don't get that big hit. I'd say that one counts, Joe.
I asked John Schneider today after last night's game where, of course, the home runs led the way for the Blue Jays, if he likes his team hitting home runs. Of course, I was chuckling, and he was too, but he also made the point that he also likes, and of course when we get to October, playoff baseball, you also have to be able to manufacture some runs. You have to take advantage of opponents' mistakes. You have to take what other pitchers give you. Well, today, that was the formula, and Raimel Tapia cashed in, but it was Vladdy ground ball here, and it was a gift from the Orioles. Third baseman throws this ball in the dirt. That gets things going with one out, and then after a couple of walks, Bradish is scuffling to find the zone a little bit. Chapman continues to show his plate discipline. Walks Teoscar as well. This is what set up the Raimel Tapia heroics, and it was a slider in the zone in a 1-2 count. This is a guy that's got great contact ability, and that's when the Blue Jays acquired him in the trade for Grichuk in spring training. I remember Ross Atkins talking about that ability, and he continues to show it. So I'm sure his manager will be happy. They won by the long ball last night. Tonight they manufactured a little bit and took advantage of opponents' mistakes. Both different ways that you're going to have to win games in October. Not easy to string things together against good pitching, so you may have to run into one or two, but also if you fast forward to October, you might have to take advantage of a walk or two here or there to cash in.
There were over 44,000 people here today. Anybody that was left at the end was clearly fooled, as were we, when Mullins hits one deep in the ninth, and there's Jackie Bradley Jr. doing this, right? And he made it look so easy. That said, there were a lot of plays the Blue Jays made that weren't necessarily easy today, Joe.
I could watch Jackie Bradley Jr. play outfield any day of the week, but yes, they did. And this defense has been a continual topic of ours throughout the course of this season. It's an improved defense this year, and the Blue Jays made a point of it in the offseason. But how about this play? You don't see this a whole lot. Now remember, the base runner is allowed to stay on the base. Well, Bo just navigated around him to make the play, and then George Springer continuing to do it, and we're all talking about his elbow so much. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to hear about the elbow. He's diving to get an out for his pitcher and for his team. This is perfect execution of the first and third defense of the double steal. Jansen throws the ball down. Bo reads it perfectly, and then Denny executes this perfectly by going down and handing it off to Chapman. We've talked about Espinal at length this season. Phenomenal job at second base. Barrios knows, the pitchers know how important those plays are, and then how about one of these from Bo at shortstop? Not the first time he's done this either, so it's all around the field. It's in the outfield as well. And I think, too, when you look at Zimmer and Jackie Bradley Jr., when these guys do fill in the outfield, they are really solidifying that outfield defense late in games. That's when it's critical, and the Blue Jays defense is going to have to be critical into October.
Remember the frustration you felt when they couldn't pull off that same play, Jan Gomes starting from third base again.
Was not long ago, right,
Yep.
where they butchered that play, and it's an easy play to mix up, but it's also an easy play to execute if you do what they did today. Not sure why the runner was going there with a good hitter at the plate, but they executed it to perfection.
Up to the broadcast booth we go as Dan Schulman sits alongside Buck Martinez. Dan.
Jamie, Jose Barrios got the start in this game, and in the second and third inning, gave up a couple of runs. There was some traffic, but he settled down. And once again, Buck, you look at the final line, 6 innings, 2 runs.
Yeah, and that's his pedigree, and he hasn't had the type of season you expect from Jose Barrios, but the Blue Jays have won each of his last 6 starts, and they are 22-7 when he goes to the mound. He had a good fastball today. Early on, they were on his changeup, but later on, it was a much more effective pitch for him. But he certainly set the tone for this outing today. And the interesting thing about this start today, for the first time all season long, his ERA is under 5.
The Blue Jays are winning at a very high clip in recent weeks. Obviously, Bo Bichette has been a huge part of that. The bullpen certainly has as well.
Well, yeah, you talk about the killer bees. Barrios, Bichette, and the bullpen certainly stepped up today. And Bo, he was shut out today, but his defense was outstanding. He made a couple of great plays. Overall, the defense has been terrific. But how about the bullpen? And I think it has a lot to do with Pete Walker and John Snyder, the way they have used their bullpen, because everybody is always on their toes. They can be called on at any time. And once again, Jordan Romando wrapped up things very effectively today.
20 games over 500. For the first time this season, the Blue Jays go for the sweep tomorrow.
And viewers should know that if you enjoy listening to Dan Schulman call a game on TV, tomorrow's game on the radio side is going to be called, as it has been all weekend, by his son Ben, and he's doing a tremendous job at that. So they focused on Barrios. Let's give you an opportunity to do that as well. He's been consistently good lately. Is it playoff worthy if they end up in a 3-game series?
Well, let's go back to our conversation on Blue Jays Central earlier today, Jamin. We talked about his changeup usage. He's really turned to his changeup in his last couple of starts, and it's been very effective. Now, today what happened is he saw the Orioles last time, and he used it a lot, and he did it very successfully. But today looked a little different. It looked as though the Orioles hitters, especially the left-handed hitters, were on the changeup a little bit more. And the way you can tell as a catcher or as a manager in the dugout is you watch the swings. He threw some decent changeups that were down in the zone, and Orioles hitters had really good swings at them. So you have to go to plan B, and I thought they did maybe a little bit too late. It was after the Stowers base hit that probably a little bit too late before they cashed in some runs, but he went to the fastball a little bit more, and then he came back to it. And you heard Buck on the broadcast say, you adapt, you adjust in the middle of the game, and then you can go back to the changeup. So you kind of keep them guessing. It didn't seem as though it was a smooth ride at all for Jose Barrios today, but they navigated the muddy waters, and then you let your offense work, and you avoid those big innings. Some of those innings, they can turn into those 2, 3, 4-run innings that we see in baseball games, and when that happens, you give up a big inning, you usually lose the baseball game. That didn't happen, and that's kind of the story of Barrios' career, even though it's been a little bit back and forth this season with that inconsistency.
So, as far as the wild card is concerned, the Blue Jays helped themselves, obviously, and they put a 7-game gap on the Baltimore Orioles, knowing that tomorrow's game, where they will hope to sweep away the Orioles, is going to be started by Alek Manoah, and what a year he is having. So, we hope you'll join us. We'll kick it off with Blue Jays Central at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We'll have a conversation with Ricky Tiedemann, who made quite an impression as one of the Blue Jays' top prospects this year. That's coming your way on Blue Jays Central at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. So, why don't we keep an eye on what the Rays are doing? They're engaged with the Texas Rangers as we speak. Off to Tropicana Field we go, and thanks again for watching Blue Jays baseball.